I'm just saying, you know, there can only be one fashion icon. There can't be two of us, you know.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. Thanks again for doing this. I really appreciate it.
It's only a pleasure. Thank you so much for asking me.
Now, of course, Lorinda texted me yesterday. She was so excited for you that you were on.
Yeah, I was like, this is honestly so cool. Like, your stuff is so amazing, and I really love what you're doing. So
thank you so much.
Yeah, it's an
well,
honor.
everyone, because I've started recording, because we usually just kind of flow into it. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first episode of the Lockdown Art Dealers episodes. I don't know what to call them. The quarantine special episodes.
I like that.
Quarantine special, that's a good one. But first and foremost, you know who it is. It's your resident Black Spider-Man, Karabo Mdluli. You know we're back. I just wanted to first say to everyone who's listening, potentially everyone who's watching, if you have been affected by the COVID-19 virus, you have family members or friends who have contracted the virus, who have been sent to hospital, unfortunately passed away, we want to send our condolences, our love and our prayers here from our dealers and here from everyone. I am lucky enough that I have no one around me that has caught it or anything like that, so I'm quite fortunate, but we do think of those who are affected by it. And we're taking this thing seriously. Stay at home, be safe, and yeah, we're going to try and produce as much cool content. So we're doing our very first Zoom episode of Art Dealers, so hopefully this goes well. I'm sure it will. And I wanted the first one to be very, very special and cool. So I'm with someone who is very special and cool, and I'll let her do the introduction so I don't take her shine. So who are you? What's your name?
So I'm Deborah. A lot of people don't call me Deborah, they call me Debs because it's easier. Yeah, I also suck at the introduction thing. That's something I should probably say right off the bat. Born and raised in South Africa, love the place, you know. And I do a lot of writing stuff. I run a blog. I do a lot of music stuff as well. And yeah, I don't know. Can you help me out with questions? I think
we can give a shout out to the reason why we were connected is through our very good friend Isla Henry.
Yes,
she is amazing. She is absolute delight of a human being, and she said if I do shout her out, I must tell her and I must send her the clip. So she's very excited that this happened. But yes, we miss her. Isla's currently in the UK, and so the way I was connected with you is that she sent me your EP when it came out, and then she was like, can you listen to it? Can you share it? It'll be awesome. So I listened to it, and you know when people are like, oh, please share, you usually just share without listening, because you know it's like, I'm not going to listen to this thing. But then I gave it a like legitimate listen. I was like, this is properly good. I'm like genuinely like
thank
impressed.
Thank you so much.
And then obviously that's where we connected as well. So that's and it turns out we have like so many mutual friends as well.
Yeah, that's small world, eh?
Very, very small world. So it's actually awesome that we met. But yeah, I wanted to kind of get you on just because like we have great conversations all the time. And I really wanted to kind of pick your brain on a couple of things. Also talk about the EP, talk about your writing, your blog, all that kind of stuff. So just first and foremost, like what's your background? Obviously I know, but I mean for the listeners, like you have multiple names. You have like 10 names. I'm kidding. Your parents are Kenyan. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So tell us about your story. Tell the people.
So, as I said before, born and raised in South Africa. I have Kenyan parents, so I guess that makes me Kenyan, but it's a bit confusing since I was born here. So, yeah. And I have 2 siblings. I'm a middle kid, and it's a very confusing thing to be. Sometimes I feel like, you know what, the question mark is my siblings lean a lot more to either parent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sort of just doing my own thing, you know. I'm like no one else. What else? I'm studying psychology at UJ, and it's probably like the best thing that I could ever do.
Was that the
I sort
first
of walked
choice?
into it.
Was that like the first choice?
Yeah, it was
always?
the first choice. It was definitely the first choice, but I walked into it very blindly. I didn't know that this is what I wanted to do until I started doing it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so me. Because I absolutely love people, and I love talking a lot, and I love understanding people's stories and deep things and all of that. And my heart really just goes out to helping a lot of people, and very passionate about solving or contributing rather to the whole mental health healing movement, I guess. I think it's really important, especially for Christians, to hop on board with this, because psychology can only go so far, you know.
Yeah, totally.
So when you pair it with anything biblical, you know, there's definitely a radical transformation that happens. So
that's really cool. Yeah.
That's my vision for my life, I guess, at the moment. I have an EP out. It's called Farewell, and it was out at the end of January this year. It is my baby. It is my child, and I'm very proud of it. And I couldn't have done it without one person that has literally believed in me since I met her, Lorinda. Honestly, I can't thank her enough, because I've been doing music for a long time, but for me to actually like release something and share it with people was definitely all her. Like she's so incredible.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it's really good. Like seriously good. I'll link it in the bio and everything. Yeah.
Thanks so much. Like I also run a blog where I just talk all things human, if I can just put it that way. So I don't necessarily speak about my life on that blog, like details about what's going on, but I do talk a lot about stuff that I really think people could relate to. So I do have a bit of a background in anxiety and stuff, so a lot of what I write will be like based off of those kinds of things. And the whole point of the blog is honestly to let people feel like they're not alone in whatever they're going through.
That's really
and
cool.
It's definitely a platform for people to reach out. Like honestly, I'm open to talking to anyone. And I've had some people that have spoken to me and stuff, and now they're like some of my greatest friends, which is such a blessing. So yeah, I'm all for community in that way.
And what's the name of the blog, and how did it all start?
So my whole blogging experience has been a bit of a disaster, to be very honest. For some of the people that have kept up with my stuff for years, they're always like, Deborah, are you that confused, you know? And truth is, like 100%, I'm very confused, because I've sort of wanted to have a blog that focuses on one thing, but I also just want to always talk about everything. I want to have that freedom. I don't know why I put that restriction on myself. The blog currently, which hopefully the name will stick, is called Sincerely Dear. Dear is a nickname I have from a friend. And that's basically my username across all platforms that aren't my music stuff. So that's basically the gist of it. Like, I've had multiple blogs in the past that have sort of just leaned on exactly the same thing. So now I'm just in a place where I'm just like, I'm going to stick to it. So yeah.
So before we get into like the creative stuff and like getting started, because I know for a lot of people, especially like a lot of people who listen to art dealers, all the questions I get is like, how did you get started? Like, what was like people think it's like genuinely like it really wasn't that hard to get art dealers off the ground. And even so, like I also blogged as well. It was sort of a precursor to art dealers. It's still up, but I just don't like ever upload it. And before we kind of get into like how we got started and like what was the kind of the catalyst to all that, especially with the music, I just wanted to get your opinion and pick your brain on kind of the world situation. We're both Christians, and we both love Jesus and are very positive, but also human. You know, we get afraid. We see the news and all that kind of stuff. Let me not speak for both of us. I was talking to a friend yesterday, and I was just like thinking about, because she's at Wits, And I was telling her about a friend of mine who's a teacher, and he was telling me how, and he teaches at quite a prestigious school, like one of the bigger ones. But because a lot of their students come from kind of impoverished areas, but they come to the school on like a full ride scholarship because of sports, music, or academics, or whatever the case may be. Now that they have to kind of do school online, they don't have the facilities and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of made it more difficult for them. Where obviously, if you come from a more, privileged background, you're obviously more fortunate. You can do online schooling. You have a computer. You have your parents' computer. You have good internet, whatever the case may be. And it kind of like made me like quite upset. I even had to like stop thinking about it because it was like genuinely like making me quite sad. So just with like this whole global pandemic, what's been your thoughts around it? Has it affected you personally? Like generally, like how has it kind of been in your space?
I think that I've really made a big deal about being intentional to thank God first and foremostly. Like I understand that there's so much going in the world, and like I'm not denying that that's happening, and honestly my heart goes out to those people that are being so severely affected by this. But once you give thanks to God in the beginning and in the end, it does put things into perspective, and it definitely makes hope a little easier to reach, if I can put it that way. For me personally, I haven't been affected. None of my family members have been affected, so I'm very grateful for that, because I understand that that's not the case with everyone else. But I think that there's only so much we can do, and honestly we need to just be focused on what we can do and trust God for the rest, because if we focus on things that we can't control, then we're unable to do what we're supposed to be doing well, and then of course there are consequences that come with that, that are severe. So I think in this time, as cliche as it sounds, the most important thing is to literally keep hope alive, because without that, you'll get people that won't even be able to get up, in the morning and start their day, because like that's what God expects of us, I really feel, I don't think he feels like, or rather that he thinks that we should just let everything come to a standstill. We're still meant to be extremely fruitful in this season, even though it's difficult, because there's never going to be a perfect opportunity for anyone to do things, even if you just think about it in your personal life, not everything in your life has actually just at some point been absolutely perfect, where like now it's the perfect time to do this, now it's the perfect time to do that. It's a decision that is difficult to make, but it's something that has to be done, because honestly it keeps you alive, it keeps you going. And I really feel like once you have that mindset, you have a bit of freedom to even just hear from God on what the next step is, like especially in this country. I'm extremely proud of our president. Like the way he's handling everything is just, we've been praying for the wisdom of Christ over everyone that's in charge and everyone that's an authority in this country, but to actually see it manifest is something truly special. So I think with that picture in mind, let's not look at let's not keep our focus rather on the horrible things that are happening, but let's just keep our eyes on God, and keep looking forward. Yeah,
and what have been some of the things that you have done personally to keep your hope alive and like not let sort of like the negative media and kind of like the negative news like get to you?
So for me personally, I try to distance myself a lot from the news and all that. Like I do keep up to date every now and then, but like it's not a first thing in the morning type thing for me.
Yeah.
Because then that'll mess me up for the rest of the day, because it's so depressing to hear. But I also make sure that I hear about the good stuff. So I hear about, of course, new cases and stuff, and also about people that have recovered, and the good things that are happening, because it reminds me that, you know, it's still there's still good in this. Also, just, I mean, personally, reading Psalms, especially a lot of the stuff that David wrote in the Psalms, because it's very honest, and like he cried out to God a gazillion times and expressed his pain, which is something that we need to understand, that God empathizes with us. But then at the end of every Psalm, you know, he'd always just get his eyes focused back on God, which is pretty remarkable and sets a great example for us to do. So I do that every morning as well.
That's awesome, yeah. And what is how do I put this? Like, what do you miss about pre-lockdown, pre-COVID-19 lifestyle?
Oh, I miss my friends. I actually miss going to university. I mean, yeah, while you're at university, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I want to go home. But I'm so blessed to go to the university that I go to. Like, it's so incredible. And yeah, I honestly just miss going there. I miss seeing people. I miss going to coffee shops. I miss going to church in person. Yeah. I miss everything. But I am more of a homebody, so lockdown hasn't been too bad for me because I'm used to this.
Exactly the same. I'm chilling here. I won't even lie to you. Like I'm doing fine. But it is cool. Like you say, like I realized like I miss like a lot of the little things. Like I never used to just go out for the sake of going out, but like it was nice that I had that option. And realizing that now, like I can't leave. Well, it's not that I can't, but it's just advised that I stay home. Really, not even just for like my sake, but for people around me, like, because you never know that you could be carrying the virus. You could be asymptomatic, and then all of a sudden you give like 20 people the virus, you know what I mean? So it's definitely advisable that you stay home, and social distancing is very important. And like if you are out, like, you know, keep your distance, you know, stay clean, stay all that kind of stuff. But what is the first thing when lockdown inevitably ends, which is probably going to end fairly soon, but there'll probably still be restrictions. So we're in South Africa. We have an international audience, by the way. I'm just
That's great.
So for those of you not listening in South Africa, the way our lockdown works, because I know like in the UK, you can leave your home for like an hour for exercise, to get food, or, you know, do essential shopping and stuff. So for us, you can do that. You can go out to buy medicine and essential goods and stuff, but everything else is you have to stay at home. So like no jogging, no exercise, none of that, no gymming. You can't just go out for food. So for us, it's chilled, but it's also like quite strict. So like what are some of the things you're going to do and also we had a ban on like gatherings. I think it was like 100 people. And I'm assuming that's going to be reduced to like 20 people when lockdown ends. I've been hearing stuff. So when lockdown inevitably ends, and we're probably going to go back to like a ban of people, or it's relaxed, should I say, what's the first thing you're going to do?
The first thing I'm going to do is see my varsity friends, because I miss them the most. They live all over the place. So one's in Pretoria, the other one isn't, like, they're just everywhere. But we're definitely going to meet up. Like, it's a must. As in, like, when they hear this, I'm telling them it's going to happen.
I was telling a friend, I was like, I'm literally going to go to a coffee shop by myself, because I miss having coffee so much. Like it's actually like it's affecting my soul right now. I went to go buy coffee from a friend yesterday, and he has a coffee machine at his house, and when I got there to pick up the stuff, he gave me like a cup of coffee. I've never been so happy, like in recent times. I was so excited. It didn't even have like latte art or anything. It was just a beautiful cup.
The coffee.
It was a flat white. Thank you, Lee, so much. Lee Weber, I love you. But yeah, now onto like the creative stuff before we get to the music, because the blog was quite interesting. Because I think I obviously have a background as well in writing. I used to write for a sports blog based in the UK as well. I was a senior contributor, so I definitely have a knack or a history of writing and stuff. And then I started writing my own stuff and doing my own like fashion blogs and lifestyle blogs and stuff. And like I said, it's still up if you still want to see it, but it is trash. It was before I became a designer and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not particularly a huge fan of it, but it is still up there.
It's not trash. I've seen it. It's great.
it's okay. It's okay. So for you, for like people who are listening, like I said, what would your advice be? This is specifically for like writing and stuff. What would your advice be for someone who's like wanting to take that step? Maybe they have a knack for writing. They want to maybe write a book one day. They want to start a blog, or what would be your like advice for like getting started?
For getting started, honestly, it's literally just getting started. You could write such nonsense, but if you keep at it, you'll definitely develop. Also, look for other people with blogs, and I'm not referring to like famous blogs necessarily. I don't know, there's a lot of writers on Instagram, smaller accounts and stuff, but they just write more personal things or whatever is in your lane, the kind of stuff that you want to write and stuff. Don't stop. Like, start and don't stop. It could be anything. Also, make sure you write for yourself. Not everything has to be like posted and everything. So, like, free yourself with that mindset that I need to write this to share with people. Because once you start learning to write for yourself, even if it's, I don't know, about a childhood story or a childhood trauma, or like the shoes you wore last week that you really liked, or it could be literally anything. Write for yourself. So those would be, I guess, my 3 things. Just start writing, don't stop writing, and then write for yourself. Yeah,
that's awesome. And let's get into the nitty-gritty, the music. So what was you said you've been doing it for a while before you put out the EP. So what's your history with music? What's been how did you all get started? Like,
so so when I was in grade 1 at school, my parents decided to let us all like learn an instrument, and I landed up learning the violin. It wasn't my choice. I was too young to know what it even was. So my parents were like, okay, cool, I'm gonna take this kid to violin lessons and stuff. I had the most incredible Bulgarian teacher. I'd love to see him again today, honestly. So I stuck with him until 7 or 8 years later. So I'd done violin through the Royal Schools of Music, and it was great, but I didn't really feel like this is what I wanted to do. But it was, because it's such a technical instrument, it definitely taught me a lot about music. So I knew for sure that this is what I wanted to do in some vein. Then I just picked up a guitar, started teaching myself guitar. I had a friend in primary school, still extremely talented in music, and she showed me a lot of stuff. And I remember we used to play a lot of Taylor Swift songs and Ed Sheeran songs, and we were tweens, and it was great. But yeah, that's basically how I grew and fell in love with guitar. It became a lot easier for me to play as I went. After that, I guess I sort of always had a singing background, because my mom used to sing, my mom's mom used to sing. So I was like, okay, I could do this,
Yeah.
And then I just basically stuck with guitar. And then with the church that I go to, which is Rivers Church, it's my home. There's people in my family, and the worship team or teams are extremely talented, filled with talented people. And I hung around them a lot when I was a lot younger, and checked out a lot of their stuff, some of their personal music work, and I was just hooked, and I was like, okay, cool. You know what? I really want to do this. And then I ended up serving in my church, which was great. A very short time, only 5 months. This was in 2017, but it was the best 5 months of my life. I served in choir, and that team literally just became family within within seconds of me meeting those guys, and I just continue to grow. My music taste widened to genres I never even knew like I would even like, and I took the music thing seriously. I had been writing music and writing songs since I was in primary school, which was cool. They all, like, I remember my very first song was written from a very sad place, as a lot of most songs are written from, because I was really upset about something. I don't even remember what it was, and I remember writing about how I was just gonna wait on God for this whole thing, and I still sort of remember what that song is like today. And yeah, that was basically the journey. And then I just never stopped writing. I had books and books and books filled with songs I had written, and I just always felt like kind of afraid to share my stuff, because I was very critical of myself, and I didn't know or have anything to test my work against to see if it was good, because I was constantly surrounded by people who produce quality stuff, so yeah, I really valued the excellence that my music had to come with, but I couldn't see what it was. And then I released Farewell, and I don't think I'm going to look back, so that's my thing. Yeah.
And what was the, like, conceptually, because I always love to like find out like the thoughts behind like certain albums and EPs, so like what was the kind of the birthing of the EP, like the name choosing and like kind of, you know, album cover, all that kind of stuff? How did that all, where did it start, and like how did we get to it being released?
Sure. Well, this is hard. If I could just sum up the process of making the EP in one word, it would be messy.
Messy.
It was such a mess. I didn't know what I was doing. Like, right up until the day before I released, I was still so lost. I was like, what am I doing? You know, I was confused about everything. I didn't know what I wanted from it, but I knew that I had to do it. I had a point where I was like, okay, I want this to be all new songs, but I hate like half of these songs, so I'm just gonna take some old songs and just throw them in there, and no one will know, you know, because no one's heard everything that I've written. But then I was like, no, I'm gonna write all new songs. I wrote like, I don't even remember how many, but I wrote a lot of songs for me to decide on the 5 that I did. I looked for a common theme, and the theme of it was basically, I could say, like the anthem of Farewell, the song, not necessarily the EP, which is, in the bridge it says, farewell control. Because I was so obsessed with controlling every single aspect, which of course I had to, because I did this EP on my own. But to strive for this perfection that was not attainable, started making everything that I did like awful. So the second I just sort of like eased back a bit and was like, you know what, this is what I've made, and this is the best that I can, you know, create, and this is what I have to offer, everything just sort of fell in place. The very first song, Alive and Well, what am I saying? Alive and Always. I renamed that 100 times, as you can probably tell now that I've just forgotten what the name of the song is. And that song speaks of like a closeness and intimacy that our hearts and our souls long for with God, that really, well, it's kind of unsaid, but for me, I know it's with God because, well, I'm a Christian, and I know where that comes from, and I know that people can't fill that thing or that need. Then Farewell was written the day before I released the EP. I'd sort of hit a very great creative block, and I was like, okay, Jesus, I need one more song. If I just start writing something now and it sucks, I'm going to take it that I just need the full songs. If I write something now and it ends up being all right, then I'm going to put it in. So I started just fiddling on guitar, coming up with the bass notes and everything for Farewell, and I just remember laughing. I was hysterical. If anyone would have seen me, they would have thought I was literally mad, because this just fits so well. And that's what makes it one of my favorite songs. No, actually, my favorite song on the EP is Farewell, because it honestly felt like a miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a miracle, and the lyrics just came, and everything just was put together, and I recorded everything and mastered everything the same day. So that one was a miracle. There's a song, Small B. It's old and new. It again, I wanted to sort of portray the perspective that is how big God is in comparison to us, and how, because of that truth, we shouldn't live lives rooted in fear, because honestly we're so small, yet this huge God loves us, so that one's a lot more personal. I refer to B because, well, that's the meaning of my name actually, so I was like, okay, cool, this is a thing now. Then the fourth song, The Sun is Closer Than We Are to Each Other, speaks of community, which is something I've always sort of struggled to find, especially Christian community. I have my community within the church, but I've always wanted to sort of have a community of with Christians outside of the church. So yeah, people with different backgrounds and that kind of thing. So it speaks of the importance of community. The last one is just talking about it's called Heavy Love. Speaks about the love of Christ and the weight of God's word being the most significant thing that we could ever have in our lives. So yeah, I didn't want to make the album blatantly Christian, put it in the Christian genre, because I wanted to reach a lot more people with it. So you won't hear words like Jesus or God in any of them. Yeah, because I wanted to include a lot more people in it. Yeah. And for them to just understand the heart of God before they know that this is the name of God, sort of put it backwards, Yeah, and it is really good. I'm not even trying to gas you up or anything. It genuinely is very, very good, and really well done. Thank you, Lorinda, for pushing you to get it out. Without you, there'd be no EP. And and then I know everything kind of has a meaning behind it. So the album cover as well, what was the thinking behind it? It's got, I'll see if I can overlay it on YouTube for the YouTube viewers. And it's got half of you, which is, you can see, and another half of you which is pixelated. And I wanted to find out what was that thinking. So to be very honest, I'd gone through a gazillion album covers as ideas, and I was like, nothing's fitting, And then I'd had that photo for a while on my phone, and I didn't know what to do with it. And I was like, okay, this works as a concept. And then I just figured that, I don't know, the clear parts, if I could just, because it's all one photo, right? I think it's important to accept within ourselves that we're going to have some gray areas, and that's completely human. So that's why I pixelated the one half. It also just spoke volumes to me personally, because I was the amount of my control freak nature just really took control within the making of this EP. So you know what, I'm not going to show the whole thing. That pixelated part would probably just represent the parts that I had no control over, the parts that are hidden, the parts that I didn't understand, the things that I would have changed that I couldn't change, So yeah, that's the gist of it.
And it's really cool. It really, really is cool. But thank you. And you just released a new single as well?
I did. It's called Honey, and it is my second child, my second baby. Yeah, that one was really fun to to write. It was very fun to make. It basically speaks of, well, because I'd been dealing with a lot of, basically just a lot lately, and I needed to hear from myself that where I am right now, and I feel like this even is applicable to like everything that's going on in the world, wherever you are right now, you can still be fruitful, you can still be okay, you're still like 100% fine. Like the whole thing of having breath in your lungs to thank God for, you know, even though there's so much going around you, you know, people are dying around you, people have family issues, like so many things are falling apart, but your life is still this incredible gift from God, and your life is still this golden thing. So
that's cool.
Yeah, acknowledging that is really important.
Yeah, that's also really cool. Also very, very, very cool. So,
thank you.
So just before we kind of wrap up and close, with regards to like your future, like where do you see yourself in like 5 years? Like, will music be more prominent, or is psych going to be like your main thing? Like, where do you see the blog? Like, where's Deborah in 5 to 10 years?
I've really grappled with this question before, because there's a lot that I'm still very unsure of, and I've sort of just been through a journey of accepting that it's okay to be unsure about it for now. In terms of the music, I never really intended to take it even like as far as I have now. I never intended to actually just like be I don't want to say professional musician, but let's just say that, for lack of a better word. But yeah, otherwise I see myself doing psychology in a way that I have never seen before. I don't want to do Christian psychology. I want to find a way to reach more people, because I mean there's a lot that I find like that I'm not happy with in terms of how psychology runs and works. You know, you either have quality psychology for very few people, or you know, you don't get enough time with many people. So I have a problem with that. I know that's just how that's just how the world works, but I don't know. I still believe that there's something new that's gonna come up at some point, but I do definitely see myself writing, whether it's articles or becoming some type of, I don't know, journalist maybe, I don't know. But yeah, the writing thing is definitely going to stick. I feel like music is more of a side thing for me.
Okay.
But yeah, I just want people to enjoy the music. I don't want to be too serious about it. But yeah, psychology is where I see myself.
No, that's awesome. Thank you so much, man. This was
Thank you.
This was really awesome. I think there's a lot of people who I think will, because I don't know your sphere that well, like, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that look up to you. A lot of people that will watch this and feel inspired as well, just to kind of take that next step. And I love what you said about hope. I think it's one of those things that we need to hear, especially in this time. I think a lot of people, like you said, are losing hope, and some people aren't even like wanting to get out of bed because they're so scared, or you know, thinking too much about how the world is going to look, or their job, or anything like that, which is all real, which is all real things. Let me not downplay a real life situation. But I loved what you said about hope. I think it's important that we keep hope alive and remember where that hope is from, and kind of keep our foundation strong, you know, and just keep good people around you.
Yeah.
I always like try and keep positive, amazing people around me. My friends now, like I've used this time to get closer with my friends, which is amazing, closer with my family. So, you know, there's a lot of blessing in disguise with this whole thing. You know, we've realized like what we need to spend as far as essentials. Like I've saved so much money just buying essential stuff, you know what I mean? And I'm sure like a lot of people can echo that. But yeah, any final, you know, thoughts that you want to leave the people, you know, anything you want to say?
I just wanted to say, like, guys, you're gonna be fine. I don't know how else to phrase it, but things are gonna work out one way or another. And yeah, just keep going, you know, and reach out to people if you need it. Like if you're literally like, you can't handle this, I mean, you can reach out to me. I'm always like, I don't have much to do right now, but yeah, reach out to people. Don't keep this to yourself. We're all journeying through this thing together. So.
100%. And where can people find you? Where can they find the blog, all the music, all that kind of stuff? What are your handles?
My handles.
In fact, what are your names?
So
before the people.
I'll give you 3.
I'll take 3.
So my name is Deborah, first one. Nyambura is the second one. It's very Kenyan. My surname is Gathingu. So yeah, you're not going to find Gathingu anywhere, so don't even try. But you can find all my stuff on my Instagram at Sincerely Dia spelled DEAH. And I have a link tree in my bio, and that's where everything else is. So yeah, the blog, the music, everything.
Yeah, we'll link everything, and if you're listening on YouTube, it's all in the bio. If you're on Apple or Spotify or anything else, just look in the description. All the links are there as well. Thank you so much, guys. This is the first of many, hopefully, episodes during lockdown. We want to keep the content alive. I was showing you some of the stats of art dealers recently, which is like absolutely madness. So art dealers reached 1,500 downloads worldwide, which is insane. I don't understand why you guys are downloading the podcast, but thank you very much. That is absolutely immense. And we were looking through like some of our statistics as far as users and stuff, and there's like almost 2,000 of you listening on mobile, so iPhones, Androids, and like only like 200 on like computers and stuff. But that's just crazy. Like 2,000 separate devices, separate phones are listening to this idiot talk nonsense, and me and all my friends just talk about how much we love Drake and all that kind of stuff. But I'm really thankful for all of you, and yeah, we just wanted to make sure we keep the content going and kind of just put out positive content as well, and really showcase people who are a good light, like you, Deborah. You're a good light in this world.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're a good light in this world.
You are too.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I just want to just get like content like this out where we're just talking and just having a good time and just catching up and all that kind of stuff. So if you are interested in being on, you have a cool story, you have some music out, please email me. If you have my email, it should be down there, but the Art Dealers email is down. You know where to find it, and we will reach out to you. Let's get some content going. Yeah, man, we just want to produce. Obviously, during this time, we're all doing it over Zoom. So if you're capable of doing it, let's do it, because now we don't have to worry about meeting up, getting mics ready and all that kind of stuff. So this has actually been quite cool. So yeah, Zoom or House Party or Skype or whatever you use, we're on everything as well. But yeah, Deborah, thank you so much. This was awesome. Genuinely was.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, such a pleasure. So guys, so we're recording this on Sunday. So we'll probably, if this is out, I want to put it out on Monday, tomorrow. So hopefully it will be out tomorrow. So if you're listening to this, I hope it's Monday. But yes, I know we were meant to do this yesterday, but my internet in the Olivedale area just decided to stop working. So Bloomington, if you're listening, or if anyone from Bloomington is listening, please put my internet back up, because it's still not working. Hence why I'm not in my home right now. But yes, I'm alone, don't worry. I'm social distancing. I'm not near anyone. But yes, Deborah, thank you so much. We'll chat on WhatsApp, because we do. But thanks everyone. Sure. This is your Resident Black Spider-Man. This is Deborah. See you guys soon. Cheers.